What does it take to be the best in the world? Not just talent, not just genetics. It's pain, obsession, fear, and doubt. This is the story of Chris Bumstead, the man who didn't just dominate classic physique, he redefined it. Born in Ottawa, Canada, Chris was a regular kid, skinny, shy, and full of insecurities. He didn't grow up thinking he'd be a legend, but at just 14, he started lifting weights, inspired by his older sister's boyfriend, who was a competitive bodybuilder. That spark turned into an obsession. He trained relentlessly, transforming his body year after year. By 19, he was already competing, and by 21, he earned his pro card. People saw the aesthetics, the perfect lines, the vacuum pose, but they didn't see the pain behind it. In 2017, Chris stepped onto the Olympia stage for the first time and finished second, a massive achievement for a rookie. But for him, it wasn't enough. The hunger was there. In 2019, he returned with a new mindset, more size, better conditioning, and this time, he took the title. It was the beginning of a new era. Chris Bumstead wasn't just a competitor anymore, he was the standard. But behind the gold medals and standing ovations, Chris was quietly battling an autoimmune disease, IgA nephropathy. It caused extreme fatigue, swelling, and intense mental stress. At times, he questioned if his career would survive. Yet, year after year, he came back stronger. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. 4 more titles. 5 Mr. Olympia wins in a row. And while his physique was legendary, it was his vulnerability that made people truly connect. Chris opened up publicly about anxiety, about doubt, about what it felt like to walk on stage while battling fear. He taught millions that you don't have to be fearless to be great. You just have to keep showing up. He turned fear into excitement and pain into purpose. Outside of competing, CBum became a true brand. Raw nutrition, Bum energy, a massive social media following, millions inspired by his lifestyle, mindset, and humility. He became the face of modern bodybuilding, not just through muscle, but through message, discipline, balance, and authenticity. He's not just a 5-time champion. He's a cultural icon, a mental health advocate, a business mogul, and for a generation of fitness fans, he's their GOAT. And the craziest part? He's just getting started. But to truly understand the greatness of CBum, we need to look deeper, not just at the trophies, but the mindset behind them. In countless interviews and moments behind the scenes, Chris talked openly about his inner battles. He described moments backstage when doubt crept in, when his mind whispered, "What if you lose? What if you're not enough?" And instead of running from those thoughts, he learned to embrace them. The champion mentality, he says, is that there are no rules. It's whatever it takes to win. This mentality didn't just push him through training sessions or prep weeks. It defined his life. He once shared that, during peak prep, he'd spend hours in complete silence, visualizing every single detail. His posing routine, the crowd's energy, the feeling of winning. It wasn't about confidence. It was about preparation, meeting obsession. But Chris is also human. In a now viral podcast clip, he opened up about having intrusive thoughts while holding his baby niece, fearing something might happen. The internet was shocked. A champion, revealing such raw, unfiltered humanity. But that's exactly why people connect with him. He makes you believe that strength isn't about being unbreakable, it's about being real. Over the years, CBum's physique evolved dramatically. In 2019, his classic physique frame was near perfection. By 2023, he brought a more complete package: fuller chest, deeper conditioning, tighter waist, and flawless posing. The judges didn't just award him wins, they crowned a dynasty. He became the undisputed king of classic. And it's not just the titles that define him, it's how he handles pressure. With each Olympia, expectations grew. Social media exploded with opinions, predictions, doubts. Yet Chris stayed composed. Not because he didn't feel it, but because he had learned to carry it. He always says, "You can feel the fear and still do it anyway." Today, CBum isn't just competing for medals. He's mentoring others, expanding his businesses, speaking about mental health, and continuing to train like he's still chasing something. Maybe not another trophy, but another version of himself. Stronger, wiser, freer. This is why Chris Bumstead matters. He's not just a bodybuilder. He's a story of struggle, resilience, evolution, and greatness. He represents what's possible when you embrace your flaws, face your fears, and keep showing up. So is he the greatest of all time? 5 Olympias say yes. Millions of fans say yes. And maybe the most important voice, his own, finally believes it too. But something tells us he's far from done.